Welcome to the Wildfire Explorer. It's great to have you here. Following a familiar warming trend, August of 2020 was California's warmest on record. In early September, more than 3 million acres in the state had burned, and more than 14,000 firefighters were on the line of 29 major wildfires. 2018 was one of the worst years for wildfires in California's history. More than 1 million acres burned, and more than 100 people have died. Touch the virtual planet hologram to start the experience. Out there through the trees, something has sparked a flame, and it's starting to spread fast. With this dry forest, there's abundant fuel to carry the flames, and with strong winds, the trees themselves will quickly catch fire. Under these conditions, a wildfire is incredibly difficult to contain and can quickly become an extremely dangerous firestorm. Wildfires represent an increasing danger due to our planet's warming climate and changing rainfall patterns. This experience will share the story of the most destructive and deadly wildfire in California's history, and a few strategies that can help reduce fire risks at our communities in the future. This is a 3D model of Butte County, the town of Paradise and surrounding areas. Following several years of drought and many days of extremely dry weather and strong easterly winds, a fire started on a hillside in Pulga. This was an electric fire caused by lack of maintenance on power lines from PG&E that broke away from a 99-year-old electric tower. PG&E, the nation's largest electricity provider, pled guilty to 84 counts of manslaughter in the Camp Fire case and is facing bankruptcy. When you're ready, touch the hologram to see a simulation of that tragic day's events. This wildfire, infamously known as the Camp Fire, was the costliest and most deadly in the history of the state. You can now see the scorched earth left after the campfire was contained, almost 3 weeks after it started. The burn scar spans 154,000 acres, an area bigger than Chicago. Now we'll slow it down for you. Touch the hologram to watch a more detailed timeline of the day that the campfire burned down Paradise. At 6:29 a.m. on November 8, 2018, the fire begins. The sparks ignited the dry foliage, and the flames expanded rapidly toward Paradise, 7 miles away. At 7:57 a.m., the first order to evacuate parts of Paradise was issued. At 8 a.m., a dozen spot fires started in Paradise, caused by fire embers carried from miles away by the strong winds. Staff started evacuating children at local schools. At 9:17 a.m., a full-scale evacuation order for Paradise was issued. The rate of growth and speed that the flames traveled surprised first responders and wildfire experts. By noon, nearly 90% of the town had been consumed by the fire, only 6 hours from when the fire started. At times, the flames consumed the equivalent area of 1 football field per second. By 7 p.m., the fire had consumed nearly 60,000 acres. By the end of the day, the fire reached Highway 99, nearly 18 miles from Pulga. Ultimately, 50,000 people evacuated from Paradise and the surrounding areas. The fire was finally contained 3 weeks later. When you're ready, touch the hologram to learn about the far-reaching impacts of the campfire. 1 out of every 3 houses in California, more than 4 million homes, are located in areas of high fire risk. These areas are known as the wildland-urban interface, places where natural land transitions into the developed areas. While these are beautiful places to call home, the fire is always a concern. The red dots on the map represent more than 17,000 structures destroyed by the fire. It took just 6 hours for the fire to devastate the entire town. Ultimately, 85 people were killed. Damages from the campfire totaled more than $16 billion. That would have been enough money to purchase more than 53,000 homes in Butte County earlier that year. That included $6 billion in insurance claims. A year and a half after the fire, many people who once called Paradise home had left. The population decreased from 26,000 in 2018 to just 2,000 residents in 2020, with the majority of the population from Paradise becoming effectively homeless over the course of a single day. 20,000 fire refugees fled to the nearby cities of Chico, Orville, and other locations where local residents provided shelter. In only 10 hours, the local population of Chico grew from 92,000 to 102,000 people. Cities need decades to plan for such tremendous growth. Overnight, the sewer system started processing an extra 1 million gallons per day. A year after the fire, city officials said they still needed $500 million to improve infrastructure and hire additional police officers and firefighters to support the higher population. The air quality was compromised as far as Sacramento and the San Francisco Bay Area, almost 200 miles away from the original source of the fire. Across Northern California, air quality was deemed unhealthy to breathe, with special concerns for people with respiratory diseases and disproportionately harming the elderly, low-income people of color, and children. More than 1 million kids from schools across the state had to stay home for weeks. An uptick in ER visits related to the fire-caused air pollution occurred even 3 months after the fire was fully contained. Now the community of Paradise must rebuild, and with that comes a new vision for wildfire safety, disaster preparedness, and a new understanding of what a warming climate means for woodland towns. When you're ready, touch the hologram to learn about potential solutions to prevent future tragedies like the campfire. Let's face it, we can't just rebuild things as they were. There are better, safer ways to rebuild communities such as Paradise that not only reduce future fire risks, but also provide additional conservation, recreation, and economic benefits. And being proactive really pays off. While preparation actions cost millions of dollars, recovery efforts cost billions. The long-term community recovery plan developed for Paradise outlines 21 opportunities to make the community safer, more welcoming, stronger, better, and greener. Now, we'll show you a few strategies to rebuild Paradise in a safer way from the community to the individual house. Maintaining a multi-use open spaces around communities, maintaining defensible spaces around the neighborhoods and individual lots, and hardening homes and early warning systems. Using fire-resistant materials and maintaining defensible space around buildings and fire-safe landscaping are also critical to reduce fire risks to structures. Current laws require 100 feet of defensible space with specific vegetation management requirements in that area. Examples of required actions include maintaining clean roofs and gutters, and removing vegetation that could catch fire from around and under decks. Requirements also include removing dead plants and leaves, and maintaining at least 10 feet between tree crowns. Many roads in Paradise were designed as long, dead-end streets or cul-de-sacs off of a main road. During the campfire evacuation, gridlock traffic stalled the residents from getting out as the blaze bore down on the town. Roads funneled evacuees all into similar routes, slowing and even halting their exit, forcing more than 120 residents to seek shelter in the burning town. In rebuilding Paradise's roadways, special care will need to be taken in developing fast, clear evacuation routes. Implementing open space around urban areas can also provide a safety buffer to protect structures and lives. These areas can be used as parks with bike and hiking trails and picnic areas while providing a safer distance between structures and the vegetation in the wildland-urban interface. One approach is to avoid new construction in certain areas and convert empty lots into resilience parks, which can act as buffers to reduce fire risks and at the same time make Paradise a more attractive travel destination to locals and visitors. Unfortunately, unless things change rapidly, such destructive fires are likely to become even more common. Halfway through the 2020 fire season, wildfires had burned over 3.1 million acres in California. The annual burned area has increased more than fivefold since the 1970s. As the climate continues to warm, by 2100 there could be a 77% increase in the total number of acres burned in California every year. The memory of the campfire is already evolving into a story of innovation, strength, and resilience. Paradise endured a brutal blow from the campfire. The road to recovery will take years and billions of dollars, but with support from state and federal governments, the private sector, and NGOs, the town is starting to redevelop and transform itself. We hope this virtual reality experience has provided you with new insights on wildfire safety and the urgent need to reduce fire risks in a warming climate. Thank you for joining us.